Hey everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at weather for the next 8 to 10 days in today's video. Going to be staying pretty cool really over the coming week to 10 days. I think we'll have more rain to contend with as we go through next week. Low pressure is going to be coming back in off the Atlantic. That will lift the temperatures up a little bit, only towards around where they should be, around the 30-year average. But I think it will turn more unsettled and a little bit warmer as we go through next week. As we get through to the very start of September, we could be starting to see hints of a bit of a ridge building up from the south. I did a video yesterday saying that there is signs that the first week of September could turn a little bit warmer and perhaps a little bit drier for a few days as well. We'll have a look at all that in a moment. Before I get on with the video page, just want to mention the ad. It says video ads on pages at gasweathers.com. If you could hit play on video ads, you'll be helping to support gasweathers.com. Thanks so much for doing that. So starting off with something very unusual, which you don't see very often on the 19th of August. It's the thickness chart here, and the UK is within entirely the 546 thickness line, which is this green line just here. That is really heralding autumn. When you're within that line this time of year, you know you're within autumnal conditions, and the whole of the UK and Ireland is within that 546 line. That's very unusual to see that line as far south as that at this time of year. Normally it would be pegged back somewhere around Iceland and Scandinavia, north of Scandinavia, waiting to push down through September and October. But having it right across the country this early really is quite unusual. The summer line as well, the 564 line, which is this one just here, a lighter green. That's a long way south as well. That's down towards the Mediterranean now, northern parts of Spain. Again, that's probably further south than you would expect it to be at this time of year. So definitely the cold air, or the cool air, is in the ascendancy just at the moment. If we have a look at the central temperature from Hadley, we can see that the temperature in the central England region is responding to this cool weather. We're seeing at the moment, provisionally anyway, we've got the central England temperature at 16.1, which is an anomaly of just 0.2 degrees above average. So we can say we're more or less around the average right now. And over the next few days, I think we're likely to go down below average for the first time in 2014, except maybe for a day or two here and there, but I've forgotten about. But I think we're going to be generally going below average over the next few days for the first time this year. It'll be interesting to see where the central England temperature comes out as we get through to the end of the month. We could well get our first cooler than average month of the year. Have a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts next week to 10 days. Got the ECMWF on the left, the GFS is over on the right. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet is where I've got weather taking place as high pressure, low pressure are moved around by the jet stream. These are the mean flow charts for 8 to 10 days. So it's going to be taking us towards the end of August, actually towards the 29th of the month. Blue indicating below average heights, that's low pressure. Orange and red indicating above average heights, that's high pressure. Both the models are in agreement, or the charts are in agreement. I've got below average heights sitting to the north of Scotland, so we've still got low pressure around the country. We've got high pressure out in the central part of the Atlantic on both of the charts, in hints of northern blocking there, still going up towards Greenland on the GFS, less so on the ECMWF, and generally the jet stream is coming through, or maybe even slightly to the south of the country, something like that around that trough of low pressure. So it's relatively cool, relatively unsettled as we're going through to the end of the month. The only difference is that the air, instead of being sort of polar based, which it is right now, which is why it's so cool, will become more sort of Atlantic based. So temperatures will tick back up, back to the 30-year average. No better, I don't think, than average, but it will become a little bit warmer. But then it can hardly get any colder, really, for August than it is right now. The GFS temperature and precipitation charts show that we're well below the 30 ensemble charts should say show that we're well below the 30-year average. The thick red line here is the 30-year average. We're significantly below average. We're going to stay significantly below average for the rest of this week. Get through to the weekend and start of next week. There is a warming trend there as we tick up towards the red line, going back up towards average, but we don't really go any better than average, and we hover I should say around the average for the rest rest of the month then, and going out to the start of September, which is September the 1st. Just here. Also, we're bringing precipitation spikes back from Bank Holiday Monday onwards. Could be some rainfall coming through on Friday. That could be a particularly cool, wet, miserable day across parts of the country on Friday. Have to watch out for that. But significantly, we're bringing the rain through next week, and that's as an area of low pressure comes in off the Atlantic. So there are rainfall spikes going through next week. Then maybe a little bit of a drying trend emerging going into the first few days of September. That's at the extended range of the GFS model in the unreliable time frame, but just something to watch out for, that we could get that ridge early in September coming back up perhaps. Temperature anomaly for the next week, the 19th to 27th of August, shows that we're going to be below average. We're in those blue colours, hardly surprising having seen the ensembles. And that's mainly skewed actually for the first few days, because as we get through towards next week, temperature anomalies will be lifting up back towards average. But even so, it's going to be so cool in the next few days that the anomaly does come out below average. The rainfall anomaly shows that we're going to be, well, average in the north, a little bit drier than average actually down in the south. That's because we're in that northerly flow, but I have to emphasise as we get through next week, rainfall is coming back as the Atlantic moves back in. It's a little bit wetter than average in the North Sea, and that's because we've got northerly winds coming down across northwest Europe, and low pressure centred somewhere around the Baltic. So have a look at the charts for next week. Here comes the low pressure. It looks like it's going to spoil things for Bank Holiday Monday. Timings on this is going to be critical. I think the west is going to get quite a lot of rain through the course of Bank Holiday Monday. The east could just about hold on to a fine Bank Holiday Monday. It's going to be such a close run thing, and it's too far out still to be confident about it. So I'll be doing more updates on the events page. There'll be another update coming up tonight. But that low pressure will be moving in relentlessly through the start of next week in any case. So by the time we get through to Tuesday, it's right over the top of the country as another unseasonably deep area of low pressure at 995 millibars will be bringing in quite strong winds, and also as the persistent rain clears away, heavy showers as well. And then we keep the low pressure out to the west, and then for the country going through the course of next week. Actually, it's back over the top of the country by Friday the 29th, which is day 10. We saw it on the height anomaly charts that it's going to be unsettled through the next 8 to 10 days with low pressure never all that far away. Having a look at the E70, very similar really. Got low pressure still out in the Atlantic pushing in as we go through to the start of next week. It's right over top of the country on Tuesday, so certainly not a great start to next week with showers and spells of rain. But low pressure starts to move away up towards the northeast as we get through to the latter stages of next week, so that by day 10 we're just perhaps showing signs that we could be starting to get a little bit of a ridge building to the south. There's still quite a lot of low pressure out in the Atlantic, so certainly the north and west will still be unsettled, but maybe turning a little bit drier and warmer down in the south, and that could be the trend as we go through to the start of September. If we have a look at the extended GFS, don't normally show you these charts, but going out beyond 300 hours, it's a huge amount of time away, very unreliable. We do start to see signs that a little bit of a ridge forms in the south right at the very end of the month, and that becomes stronger as we get through towards the start of September. By Thursday, the 4th of September, a nice ridge there centred over Germany, becoming very warm potentially. Excuse me, winds going into the south. Although this low pressure around the Azores will very quickly, I think, be pushing in to bring thunderstorms. So it wouldn't last all that long, but for 2, 3, 4 days early in September, the first week, we may get a final burst of summer heat. We saw it yesterday on the video yesterday, but the CFS model was showing the potential for that final burst of summer heat through the first week of September, not lasting particularly long, breaking down by the end of the first week into probably quite torrential thunderstorms, and then the rest of September was being signalled to be pretty cool and unsettled. Whether that is where we go, I don't know. It's quite speculative, but certainly the signs on the GFS anyway, but the first few days of September could get something a bit drier and warmer. It's very often a week, the first week of September, that does produce a bit of a late summer spurt of heat and sunshine. So we'll have to see if it develops into anything. It could well do. It's a period, I say, that is very often quite warm and dry those first opening days of September. But coming back to the next 8 to 10 days, not really looking all that great. Low pressure is going to be in control. It's going to start off very cool. Temperatures will lift up as we get through to next week, back towards average, but the downside on that is that it'll be turning much more unsettled with heavy bouts of rain and showers coming in off the Atlantic. That's all for now. It's 5-day forecast tomorrow. Come back to that. I'll be having another look at the bank holiday weekend tonight in depth, so come back to that on the events page. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.